Welcome to my unboxing of the Mionix NAOS 8200. This is an all-new mouse from Mionix that actually takes what was already good about the NAOS 3200 and the NAOS 5000 and kicks it up a notch. So basically we've got what is a pretty standard overall package here. So you can see a picture of the mouse with the green Mionix accents here, although it should be noted that those colors can be changed to any one of 16.8 million color options using the programmable LEDs that can be changed within the software. And it should also be noted that the ergonomics have thankfully not changed versus the previous NAOS mice. They've also gone with an extremely small package, so it's basically just the mouse and a couple of accessories tucked away inside of an outer box. Sensor specifications, okay, so 8200 DPI laser, 32-bit, 72 megahertz ARM processor. Don't think of it in terms of 72 megahertz. Think of it as 72 millions of hertz. Sort of one way of looking at it, right? So, okay. Let's go ahead and have a close look at the packaging here. So we've got a little fold-out piece here. We've got a little plastic piece here. I gotta admit, the packaging itself feels a little bit less deluxe than previous Mionix mice. But if the performance is anything like what I'm used to, then it should be just fine. In fact, my wife is a bit of a picky peripheral user and refuses to use anything but her NAOS 3200 or the 5000 that she was using before, but I craftily snuck away when she wasn't looking. Anyway, so I'm going to get our B-roll camera to go ahead and have a look at what we've got here in terms of specs overall. So award-winning ergonomic design, extremely comfortable. The overall shape of the mouse is, quite frankly, just awesome. So you can see right here, whether you have smaller hands like me or whether you kind of have bigger hands and you're going to need to be sitting back a little bit further, the curve of the mouse is such that you can sort of sit back on it or choke up on it as much as you want, and it'll be comfortable from either angle. So I'm just going to go ahead and shift back over here so you can have a look from the other side. So same thing here, where you've got a curve right here for your pinky, a curve right here for your ring finger, and then comfortable placements for your index and your middle fingers, as well as for your thumb on the other side. So yeah, they haven't done away with that grip-friendly rubber coating, so it does use a soft touch feel overall to the mouse, which I personally prefer. I think that was a huge misstep for SteelSeries when they upgraded the Xi to the Sensei. Now the newer Sensei with the MLG branding on it actually brings back that soft touch finish, and I think that is a very, very important thing. 3-step in-game DPI adjustments. Okay, this is pretty standard for gaming mice these days. 7 buttons overall. So you've got your back and forward buttons here. By the way, they're all programmable. You've got your DPI up and down buttons here, your mouse wheel click, as well as your left and right buttons here. That is pretty much it. In terms of glowy spots, the mouse wheel, these DPI indicators here, as well as these buttons and the Mionix logo at the back will all glow. In-game profile switching, okay, extensive programmable macros, that's good. 6 integrated LEDs in 4 color zones, so you can actually have multiple different color zones. That's kind of neat. I actually didn't know that already. Color shift function, so you can use solid, blinking, pulsating, or breathing LED effects. You can adjust the polling rate. This is something that has been more of a thing in the more recent years. Actually, a long time ago, people didn't really talk about it at all. I remember you used to have to do like a manual override to change your mouse to a 1000 hertz polling rate, so that's very good. I mean, 1000 hertz is 1000 times a second, which means we're taking the mouse down with a wired connection to as little input latency as is humanly possible, or not humanly possible, just in general possible. Large PTFE feet. So these right here are going to be the slip pads that are going to make it so that you don't actually have any sort of unintentional grip to the surface that you are putting it down on. So hopefully you can see those pretty well there. There we go. So those should be quite durable. Like I said, we've had one of their 3200 mice in deployment for quite a while. No complaints whatsoever. They're also quite thick. So large, and they have like quite a thickness to them. So they shouldn't wear down too quickly, but if they do, then sort of your mileage may vary, I suppose. Can't be my fault. Gold-plated USB connection. This is less necessary than you might think. And then it's got a 2-meter cable with braiding on it. So let's go ahead and have a close look at that. So the gold plating on the outside of the connector actually does absolutely nothing for the durability of the mouse. It's just for looks mostly. It's more important to have gold plating on the inside where those connectors are. So gold is useful for these kinds of connectors because it doesn't oxidize and it's somewhat malleable, which means it's going to always make a good connection. Braided cable is high quality. It's a braided cable. This is something we're used to seeing on gaming mice, so that's good to see. And we'll be back in a moment with the mouse lit up so you guys can have a look at it. So basically, guys, this last little bit here is just going to be to give you some overall glamour shots of the mouse itself. I'm not even going to let Slick's camera have any of the action at all. So I'm just going to sort of turn it over, show you guys what it looks like. I mean, I have smaller-ish hands. In fact, Slick could even just put down his camera and come do a more practical demonstration of what a larger hand will look like on the mouse itself. So here, just kind of give them a bit of a view there. So, in fact, here's the mic. What are your impressions of the shape? You've used one like this before, right?
Yeah, I can claw it still, so that's really nice. But then if someone had smaller hands, they could palm it very easily. Although palming it with this size of a hand is kind of ridiculous.
Okay, so there you go, guys. Smaller hands can, oh my goodness, look how sweaty his hands are. Check this out. Isn't that gross? It's disgusting. So smaller hands, palm is very easy, very comfortable. You could also claw it with smaller hands, but I'd say it's optimized for small hand palm, large hand claw, and then sort of in between, I guess you could probably go either way, because I have very small hands, and then Slick has very, very large hands. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. Oh yeah, your 4 different LED zones are going to be here, 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 and here. Don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips for more unboxings, reviews, and other computer videos.